Hello, environmental scientist, and welcome to your first APES screencast. These screencasts are designed to allow you to work your way through the course's material on your own time and at your own pace. Treat the screencast as you would a live lecture. Take notes, highlight key points, and jot down any questions that arise. This helps reinforce the material and makes it easier to review later. Take advantage of the ability to pause and rewind the screencast. If a concept isn't clear, pause the video to review your notes, rewind to rewatch complex sections, or even speed up if the pace is too slow. Plan a specific time to watch the screencast as if they were live lectures. Avoid multitasking and create a distraction-free environment to maintain focus and retain more information. In today's screencast, we will begin Chapter 1 and cover sections 1.1 and 1.2. We will look at the concept of sustainability and look at how humans have impacted the Earth. We will dive into understanding how we can learn from nature to live more sustainably and ensure a healthy and thriving planet for future generations. Each chapter kicks things off with a core case study that gives an example or frames what we will be learning about. The core case study for the first chapter discusses how we can learn from the Earth. Sustainability is all about the capacity of the Earth's natural systems to survive, flourish, and adapt to changing environmental conditions indefinitely. One fascinating way we can achieve sustainability is through biomimicry, learning from the Earth and living organisms to solve human problems. For example, scientists have invented a tape that mimics the way the feet of a gecko grip onto surfaces, even allowing these animals to walk on walls. Looking to nature to see how it solved its problems can provide solutions to our own. This slide shows the tiny hairs called nanohairs on the tips of geckos' feet that allow it to walk on walls and ceilings. Environmental science is the study of the intricate connections in nature. It examines how the Earth works, how it has survived and thrived, and how humans interact with the environment. Most importantly, it teaches us how we can live more sustainably. Ecology is a branch of biology that focuses on the interaction of living things with their environment. Every living thing belongs to a species, and these species interact within an ecosystem, a community of organisms, and their physical environment. On the other hand, environmentalism is a social movement dedicated to protecting the Earth's life and resources, often practiced in politics and ethics. There are three scientific principles of sustainability that we should understand. First is the dependence of nature on solar energy. The sun provides warmth and energy that plants use to produce nutrients through photosynthesis. In fact, if we could harness the solar energy that hits the Earth in 1 hour, we could power the planet for an entire year. Second is the stability provided by biodiversity. Biodiversity is the astounding variety and adaptability of natural systems and species. And third is chemical or nutrient cycling, the circulation of nutrients from the environment to organisms and back to the environment sustains life and regulates climate, as in the case of the movement of carbon dioxide. This graphic again highlights the three principles of sustainability: the dependence on solar energy, biodiversity, and chemical or nutrient cycling. Sustainability has key components, starting with natural capital, which keeps humans and other species alive and supports economies. Capital is a term from economics that refers to anything that has or can create value. Natural capital includes natural resources like soil, water, and energy, which can be inexhaustible, renewable, or non-renewable. Examples of inexhaustible natural resources include sunlight and wind. They will never run out. Examples of renewable resources include forest, grasslands, topsoil, fishes, air, and fresh water. As long as they are not overconsumed, they will replenish themselves. The highest rate of renewable resource use without reducing its supply is called the maximum sustainable yield. Examples of non-renewable resources include oil, coal, natural gas, copper, salt, and sand. Natural capital also includes ecosystem services, which are processes provided by healthy ecosystems at no monetary cost to us. These services are divided into 4 types. Provisioning services include any ability to provide vital products for human survival, such as food and water. Regulating services maintain environmental conditions necessary for human life, like climate regulation. Cultural services offer recreational, aesthetic, cultural, and spiritual benefits. And finally, supporting services are necessary processes for the production of all other ecosystem services, like photosynthesis and soil formation. This table describes and gives examples of the 4 types of ecosystem services. Providing energy and seafood are provisioning services. Flood prevention and climate regulation are regulating services. Education and recreation are cultural services. And maintaining biodiversity and nutrient cycling are supporting services. Unfortunately, human activities can degrade or lower the quality of natural capital. We often use renewable resources too quickly and overload air, water, and soil with waste and pollutants. However, we have the power to provide solutions to these environmental problems. By finding trade-offs between environmental protection efforts and economic impacts, we can make progress. Each individual plays a role in sustainability. For example, recycling 1 aluminum can save enough energy to power a TV for 3 hours. This graphic reminds us that natural capital is the sum of natural resources, shown in blue here, and ecosystem services, shown in orange. This graphic summarizes the 3 different types of natural resources: inexhaustible, renewable, and non-renewable, and gives examples of each one. This photograph shows the environmental impact of coal mining. Coal is a non-renewable resource. These photos here show some of the extent of tropical rainforest deforestation. These trees are being cut down faster than they can grow back. Oftentimes, the land is used for other purposes, like cattle ranching and agriculture. Let's explore 3 additional principles of sustainability. Full cost pricing means including the harmful environmental and health cost in the market prices of goods and services. Win-win solutions involve finding solutions that benefit both people and the environment. A responsibility to future generations ensures we leave the planet's life support system in the same or better condition than it is now. This graphic again highlights these 3 additional principles of sustainability from economics, politics, and ethics: full cost pricing, win-win solutions, and a responsibility to future generations. Countries around the world differ in their economic development and resource use. More developed countries, or MDCs, like the United States, the European countries, and Japan, are industrialized nations with high average incomes and make up only 17% of the world's population. Yet, they use 70% of the world's natural resources. If everyone consumed resources at the rate of the average American, for example, we would need 5 Earths to sustain our current lifestyle. In contrast, less developed countries, or LDCs, constitute the remaining 83% of the global population, but only use 30% of the world's natural resources. The map on this slide shows more developed countries, or MDCs, in blue, and less developed countries, or LDCs, in orange and red. Humans have made incredible strides in improving quality of life. We've developed useful materials and products, extended lifespans, and achieved the greatest reduction of poverty in history. Our food supply is more abundant and safer than ever, and we've become better at avoiding exposure to toxic chemicals. We've also made efforts to protect endangered species and restore cleared lands. However, we're also living unsustainably. We're depleting and degrading the Earth's natural capital at an alarming rate. Human activities now directly affect 83% of the Earth's land surface through urban development, agriculture, mining, and deforestation. Species are becoming extinct at least 100 times faster than in pre-human times. We are at risk of degrading the beauty and losing the diversity of our natural world. That's a future most of us want to avoid. If current trends continue, we could lose half of all species by the end of this century. We are polluting the environment, and this pollution is coming from a number of sources. Sources of pollution can be categorized as point sources, which are single, identifiable sources, and non-point sources, which are dispersed and difficult to identify the source of. This graphic describes how we are degrading normally renewable natural resources and affecting their ability to replenish themselves. This map tries to show where our impact on the Earth is greatest, shown in red, purple, and black. One concept that illustrates the impact of our unsustainable practices is the tragedy of the commons, first popularized by Garrett Hardin in 1968. This occurs when commonly shared resources, like the atmosphere, oceans, grasslands, and forests, are overexploited and degraded. The cumulative effect of many people exploiting these resources can ruin them for everyone. The solution? Use these resources at a rate well below their sustainable yield through mutual agreements or regulated access. Our ecological footprint measures the amount of biologically productive land and water needed to supply a population with renewable resources and to recycle its waste. When our footprint exceeds the biocapacity of an area, which is the ability to regenerate resources, we create an ecological deficit. Right now, humanity's ecological footprint is about 1.75 times the Earth's biocapacity. This means we're using up natural resources faster than the Earth can replenish them. This graph shows the per capita or per person ecological footprint of countries around the world. Ecological footprints are measured in global hectares, a unit of area. When a country's ecological footprint is greater than the country's biocapacity, we call that an ecological deficit. Countries with ecological deficits are shown here in red and orange. Another way to understand our environmental impact is through the IPAT model. Developed in the 1970s, this model states that I is equal to the product of P, A, and T, where I is the environmental impact, P is the population size, A is affluence or resource consumption, and T is technology. Some technologies are beneficial, reducing our impact, while others are harmful. Any increase in population size, affluence, or technology will lead to an increase in environmental impact. Throughout history, cultural changes have shaped our ecological footprints. Humans were hunter-gatherers 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. Then came the agricultural revolution, followed by the industrial medical revolution, and now the information globalization revolution. The Industrial Revolution, which began in the late 1700s, marked the start of significant human impact on the environment with the widespread use of fossil fuels. These shifts have increased our resource use, and what we need now is a sustainability revolution. This involves rethinking how we live and use resources to reduce our ecological footprint.